This is Ali Azim from Ali Azim Services, and we are the channel that brings you the latest updates on Australia and Canada visa. And today's video is a breaking news for the people who have been waiting for the Australian borders to be opened. And the breaking news is that the Australian government is introduced or is going to introduce pretty soon the road map for the Australian borders. What is that roadmap? For learning this or for having a great update in my upcoming videos, subscribe this channel and my official Facebook page by the name of Australia Canada. The link is in description. Go to description, read the description and click on the link and join me on my official Facebook page where you can talk to me one-on-one about your cases. My dear, let's start the video, and the video is Mm, approved vaccine traveling. And of course, this is the video we are bringing very first time, actually before any other channel of the study abroad visas. Actually, Australian government recently has announced a plan in the cabinet, of course, in Australian Prime Minister is under a huge pressure from the different public and the government universities to open the borders for international students. As the last time the ANU, Australian National University's Vice Chancellor, called on the Australian Prime Minister Morrison and said that the industry is going to be crippled down if you don't open the borders for the international students, and the huge number of the students are going to be affected. So actually, these ploys or these actions are bringing the best of the results for the international community. And I'm breaking the news that Australian government has introduced a plan, and that plan has given to the respective territory officers and the state officers and the state authorities. Though the state authorities are pondering over that plan and they have not approved the plan yet. But I believe that this plan is going to work. And if Australia is opened for the international student in 1 or 2 months, and with my experience, I can say that in March you're gonna hear the great news of Australian borders opening in March, around 17 or 18 March. Write this date somewhere. And let me tell you one thing here, that the state announcements are apart from this statement. So critics, they will say that Ali Azim comes and announce that 190,000 students for this state, 1,000 students for this state, 120,000 students for this state. Remember, the state policies are over there. State policies still exist. The state policies and the Australian federal government policies, of course, they're two different things. Remember, if the federal government decides something, states have to prove it. If the states decide something, the Australian cabinet has to prove it. So that's why we don't have to mix it out. Now, what is the new plan? What is the roadmap? Listen very carefully. This roadmap is a traffic light signal road map. Traffic light signal road map. So when you talk about the countries which are low risk countries means where the vaccine is pretty popular and they have the vaccine immunization already in the likes of UK, in the likes of United States of America, in the likes of Japan, in the likes of South Korea. So now these are the countries, low risk countries. So I mean, these travelers and the passengers, they'll be allowed in. They'll be allowed in with the green signal. They'll be allowed in, and there'll be no need for these the passengers from these respective countries to go to hotel for the quarantine. There is no need. Though they'll be checked. They'll be called on the different clinics and the vaccine centers and the COVID-19 centers by Australia, and they'll be checked, after every second day. So the second category of the countries, Pakistan and India, they are included in the quarantines segment, the quarantine light, that is the yellow light. So this yellow light, countries like Pakistan, countries like South Africa, countries like Mexico, countries like Zimbabwe, the African countries where the vaccine is not yet available, these are the quarantine countries. And these passenger, I mean, Australian government will force these passengers to go to the hotel for the quarantine once they reach in Australia. Once they travel to Australia, I mean, let's say if you're an international student or immigrant, you are traveling to Australia, you will be forced to move to hotel for the quarantine. And remember, let me tell you one thing here. These are the countries which are the average countries, which are the low risk countries, of course, and they'll be quarantined. And India and Pakistan, they are included in that, including Bangladesh and Nepal. So, in the end, when you talk about the traffic light signal system, the last one is the red zone. So, the red light means that these are the people, they are not to travel to Australia. So, the people from Italy, that is a red zone. The people from some part of the European countries, that is a red zone. And the people from Wuhan, China, that is a red zone. So, these kind of areas will be the red zone areas. So, let me tell you, the Australian Travel Advisory is going to publish an advisory on the part of the international community. And this is the news I'm breaking to all of you because the good time is about to start, and I'm so much sure, I'm so much sure that you are going to listen the greatest news in the upcoming month or two about the Australian borders. And I'm so much glad to announce that the Elysium Services is a channel that is bringing the news for you. And you have to keep in your mind that the time has arrived to travel to Australia. And let me tell you one thing here. If you are from the green light countries, it's great. There is no need to quarantine. You will be vaccinated in the plane, landing, but you will get checked on the airport by the COVID-19 team of Australian airport authorities. And then you are belonging to the quarantine countries where vaccine is not available yet, and India and Pakistan are included in that, and along with Mexico, along with South Africa, along with African countries. So you'll be forced to quarantine, and the third category, they are the red zone countries, and they will not be allowed to enter in Australia. Thank you very much and keep smiling. And I hope you share this video a lot for the knowledge of the people so they can really get this news and spread it around the world. This is a great news, and I'm so much happy that I'm breaking this news very first time on the social media in the South Asia. Ali Azim, keep smiling.